Hi, I'm Christopher Dunnigan. This is HandmadeInVermont.com, and today we're talking about the Hubbardton Forge Fairwinds Outdoor Post Light. This is the 342554 matching sconces. You should check them out too. They are in our outdoor section, and they're really beautiful too. So let's get into the size of the fixture itself, and that's going to be independent of what it's placed on. So you're really talking about the bottom of the collar that slides over the post to the top of the fixture itself, coming in at 18.4. So 18.4 for that, and then 12 inches in diameter, so it's a pretty good size. This is made to be able to go on a lot of different things. So you could put this on a Hubbardton Forge pier mount. You can put it on a Hubbardton Forge 71-inch post. Hubbardton Forge also offers an 84-inch post. You can also put this on your own post. So we'll go over those things little by little. So let's talk about the pier mount first. Pier mounts are going to be about that big. They're going to have a flange on the bottom that's flat with holes in it, allowing you to put this onto something like a wall or a concrete pier, or maybe a stone pier, pillars maybe at the end of your driveway, something like that. In that case, you would be using the fixture, you would be using the pier mount, and then you'd use something called a cover cap, and the cover cap slides down over the attachment, over that flange, so you don't see any of those screws and bolts. On the other side of that, if you're going to be using a 71-inch post or an 84-inch post, and you're going to be digging a hole in the ground, putting in some quickcrete, there's a flange on the bottom of those posts as well, and it's going to come with a template, and the template you put over your wet concrete, and these little J-bolts are going to be able to be sunk into the concrete, and then later on when that's all cured, you're going to be dropping these on top of the bolts and then just kind of attaching them on there. But if it's underground, you don't really need the cover cap, so it's just something to remember in this whole thing. If you're going to be putting those posts onto like a concrete deck or a wooden deck or something like that, in that case, yeah, you want to use the cover cap just to make it all pretty on the very bottom. If you want to use your own post, that doesn't really apply. We don't know what's going on with your own post, but one thing about it is your post is probably, you're going to be painting this to match obviously the fixture above it. It's going to be easier to match a black paint to a black paint than trying to match Hubbardton Forge finishes, so keep that in mind if you guys are using your own post. Okay, very simple. Let's get into a couple other things. So it's going to be using a medium base socket. Medium base socket's very simple. It's like this guy right here, and it's just the screw-in bulb we all grew up with. Your only limitation really is it's 100 watts for incandescent as far as the bulb goes, for an incandescent bulb, but most of you guys are going to be using LEDs, and a lot of these LEDs are going to be able to be used easily. So your only limitation is physically getting an LED into the glass and into the metal part on the inside. This is just a kind of a traditional LED that's shaped like an A19 that we grew up with, and this is somewhat pretty. I don't think this is going to be aesthetically too pleasing, so I would probably shy away from this idea. But you've got this guy, you've got Edison bulb that'll work in there too, which will be pretty as well, and they have a little point on the bottom. This is an LED version. These come in incandescent as well. And then the one that you see in the photograph, which is very cool, is called a T8. So a T8 bulb comes in different sizes. So T8 bulbs are usually about that long, like 4.85 inches, and they're used in exit signs. So you can use that without a problem. But this is a T8 that's 7.3 inches overall height, and I kind of like this better, and I found this online. I have the links for this, and this is an LED version. So if you guys want, you can email me and say, hey, can I get the link for that really cool light bulb, and I can send it right over to you. Like I said before, no real limitations other than the size of the bulb getting in there. So it's just something to think about. Okay, and when we look at these LEDs, when you're out in the world looking at them either online or in a store, I always talk about the color of the light coming out of LEDs. So they're going to be offered to you in a couple different ways. 2700 Kelvin is going to be a super yellow light, like a setting sun. They're also going to be offering these to you in something called daylight, and daylight sounds like it should be a warm light, but it's not a warm light. It is like a blue-white hospital waiting room light, and that's 4,000, 5,000 Kelvin on the Kelvin scale. What we like to use in our showroom is called warm white, and that's 3,000 Kelvin, and those are clearly on the box, and if you're looking online, they're clearly going to be posted on there. That's what the lighting that we use in our showroom all over the place here, 3,000 Kelvin LEDs. People think it's incandescent light, but it's not. this nice light coming down on me, this is 3000 Kelvin, so it's something you might look at. It's also a dimmable light. I don't know how many people dim post lights, but it is dimmable. So if you guys are going to be using it maybe around a pool or maybe in the backyard or something like that, you know, where you do want to dim it down at night if you're hanging out with your friends, you know, maybe a fire pit, or you got these surrounded, that could be very pretty. Then I would definitely go for a dimmable LED. Tell your installer you're going to be using a dimmable LED on that circuit so they put the correct rheostat on the wall for you. Hubbardton Forge only uses aircraft grade aluminum to make their outdoor fixtures. Aluminum holds up the best in incredibly harsh environments. When you're out and you look up in the sky and you see all those jet airliners running around up there, those are all made out of aluminum for a reason. And part of that reason is it holds up great, like I said. It also forges beautifully. It holds finish beautifully. It doesn't rust. Remember that. It's very important. And they're virtually indestructible when they're all finished. So how Hubbardton does it is they take the fixture itself, they're going to wire it up at the top, they're going to put a wire at the bottom, they're going to send a current of electricity that's going to go through this fixture, making it positive, and they put it into a spray booth with a picture of the woman next to me. You can see she's spraying finish around it, and because it's positive, it's going to adhere to every nook, every cranny, the top, the bottom, the whole thing. After that, they're going to take this and they're going to move it into an oven. That oven is going to melt all of that down and create a very hard shell. So it makes it, again, virtually indestructible. So they've also tested these things in these wind chambers. So they take the fixture, all covered in that epoxy powder coat. It's going to go into that chamber. They're going to shoot salty seawater at it at high velocity for hours and hours and hours, just like you were at the beach and you have like a hurricane coming in, which to me is going to be pretty much the worst environment you're going to run into. So after they tested these and found out that they hold up incredibly well, Hubbardton Forge offers basically the best warranty in the lighting industry. And you can see that on the page for this. So if you scroll down a little bit, there's a link, and click on that and it'll show you the entire warranty and how it all works. Okay, showroom. Our showroom in Vermont has over 400 Hubbardton Forge fixtures. This is the biggest showroom in the world at Hubbardton Forge. No other showroom is like this. Hubbardton Forge doesn't even have their own showroom. They use this one. What's on display? We have a great tab on that. And those same red tabs, you're going to see a what's on display page. So open that up. It's going to show you everything we have on display, and including which finish, which shade, all of those things, and what kind of glass it's on there. We're open every day except Sunday, 11 to 6. I'm here every day except Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We also have an amazing clearance center. Clearance center stuff is 75% off MSRP. It's returns, discontinued stuff, showroom samples. You have to come here to use it. Can't call us or email us about it, but it's definitely worth coming in to look at if you're in Vermont. Plus you want to use the showroom anyway because there's just so much great stuff here to see. Our number in Vermont, 802-446-2400. You can email us 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Love to answer emails, and it's sales@HandmadeInVermont.com. So when you order from HandmadeInVermont.com, shipping is going to be free to every state except Alaska and Hawaii. No tax if we ship out of the state of Vermont. And we're the only dealer with 90-day returns, no restocking fee. Nobody else does that. Some larger items are going to be non-returnable. It's going to be really important that you are looking at the fixture on that page and kind of scroll down under the description. It'll tell you if that is the case. And that's usually for really big, giant, huge fixtures, mostly that go out on pallets. Okay, that's it. Rush program. Let's talk about that. So rush program, Hubbardton Forge generally takes about 3 to 4 weeks to go out the door. That's production time before your transit time. You always have to add that on too. We offer a rush program that takes you from that 3 to 4 weeks down to a little under 2 weeks. It's a very small addition per line item. So if you have like 1, 2, 3 items, like let's say 3 or 4 outdoor sconces, and they're all the same size and they're all the same finish, that's one line item. So it's very inexpensive to rush those kind of things. Don't be afraid to email us and ask about that. Okay, so that's really it. If you guys have any other questions, let us know. We would love to see you in our showroom sometime. And thanks for stopping in.